Gary and Alan greeted me warmly, both approaching, Gary swinging an arm over my shoulder, Alan smiling, issuing one Ron Eckerman before going silent. He appeared agitated and wouldn't stop fiddling with the bridge on his guitar. Artemis waved from the drum riser. Steve just looked up, smiled and nodded. He never removed his guitar and was still playing around, although he had turned his volume down until it was barely audible. Ronnie was grinning at me from the corner of the room where he was sitting on a stool, headset draped around his neck. He wore a headband instead of a hat, and he was wearing white tennis shoes instead of his slip-on loafers. "It's about time you showed up," he said, sitting his orange juice on the floor next to him. I walked over and gave him a handshake and hug, as Gary tapped on the window to the control room, then motioned with his hand, tipping it up in indication he wanted something to drink. A moment later, Barry could be heard through the speakers. "Craig's not here right now." It caught me unexpected, coming out of nowhere. It was like the voice of God. A moment later, Tom chimed in. "I'll get you something, Gary. What do you want?" That was the voice of God, as far as the recording industry was concerned. Gary asked for a beer, just speaking into the air where room microphones picked him up. "I'll have a beer if you don't mind." Tom appeared a moment later, a Budweiser in his hand. I could see Barry in the control room, busy, making notes and studying console settings. They were using a Neve board, a beautiful console and the pride of the industry, but it had an enormous amount of faders and knobs, so he was taking meticulous notes on settings. There was another engineer next to him. It appeared they were sharing the chore. "So, Gary, what do you think of that guitar sound?" Tom asked. Gary took a sip of beer before responding.
"I like it. I don't know what you did, but it sounds pretty damn good."
Tom worked his way around the room, talking to each of the musicians, and then approached Ronnie. "That tempo right for you?" Ronnie nodded. "You can dance to it, can't you?" I lingered around the studio for a while, listening to a few more songs, until the band finished their break and got back to work. Ronnie wasn't needed at the time. Tom wanted to spend some time with the musicians, so we moved to the lounge where we could talk.